Hi, my name is Gracie, and I haven't decided whether I'm going to do this video sitting or standing. Hi, my name is Gracie, and this is what happens when you play one too many Life is Strange games. And before I begin, once again, I am like the target demographic for these games. Like, I'm female, I'm in my 20s, I'm kind of gay. I'm really gay. There are a few games I love revisiting year after year. One of them is Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, because Lara Croft is one of my top 10 fictional crushes. Like, she is just, she's the best. Those games are like 8 out of 10 and 7 out of 10 respectively. But Lara Croft could pull me through anything. I love her. The second game that I am down to replay every year is Spider-Man Miles Morales. Like, I've already spoken about this game in my end of year game ranking I made, but that game is just like perfect. Like, it's a perfect replay length. It's like 15 hours maybe if you want to do everything. It's funny. I love unlocking all the suits. Like, it's just, those games have perfect replayability to me. I played so many amazing games last year, and if you want to hear more about, this is how you hear. If you want to hear more about those games, you can visit my channel. I did an end-of-year ranking on all of them. I've already replayed some of them from last year, like I replayed Tears of the Kingdom because I'd never actually finished the game. I also think that it might be time to play Cyberpunk, but I just don't know if I'm ready to dive back into Cyberpunk 2077 again. But there is a game that I have been really thinking about playing again, and that is Life is Strange True Colors. But before I dived into Life is Strange True Colors again, there was something that I had to do first, something that I actually have not done. I had to play Life is Strange 1 and Life is Strange Before the Storm. And my guy, those games are incredible. I have really vivid memories of the first game. It came out in 2015, and that was a time where I was just really learning who I was. I was learning my sexuality. I was learning, and I remember watching Yogscast Hannah play through all of the original Life is Strange game. I even remember her commentary. I don't know the last time I rewatched those videos, but replaying the first game, it was honestly really wonderful remembering all of those times back in my freshman year. The indirect relationship that these games have had on me is massive, and honestly, I can't explain why I haven't played Life is Strange and Life is Strange Before the Storm, but like I said, with the announcement of Double Exposure, I knew it was time. Life is Strange centers around an 18-year-old girl who's named Max, who discovers she has the power to rewind time. Who discovers she has the power to rewind time when she sees her best friend Chloe get shot. Max uses her power to solve the mystery of the missing girl named Rachel Amber, as well as either save or destroy the town of Arcadia Bay from a supernatural disaster. Okay, let's start with this. I remembered the plot of this game really well. I remembered the main characters, I remembered the overall story arc, and I remembered that, spoiler alert, Rachel Amber is dead. And it's Max's teacher who is drugging and photographing girls in his basement, which is like really normal 18-year-old girl issues. You know, it goes from, oh shit, my period's late, am I pregnant, all the way to, oh fuck, my teacher is drugging and photographing girls in the basement. Like, I mean, super cash, you know, like hasn't that happened to you? I mean, happened to me last week, you know. Anyways, I don't actually know what I'm trying to say. What am I trying to say? Oh, I got it. I went into Life is Strange thinking I knew it all. I thought that I was like, oh, I know all the choices I'm going to make. I'm going to save the world. Best ending. That did not happen. I got beat up by this game. At one point, I was playing the game, and I was like, okay, this is the choice the game probably wants me to make, so I'm going to make this choice, because this choice will probably lead to the good outcome, even though the game probably wants me to make this choice, but that outcome, that one's going to probably lead to the bad outcome. And I was like, I was psyching myself out. The game got me. There's a point in the game where a girl is going to commit suicide, and you go up on the roof to stop her. First of all, I knew that this scene was going to happen. I remembered Yogscast Hannah failing to save the girl, and I was like, I'm gonna save this girl. I did not save the girl! I remember, I don't know why I'm talking about, like, I remember, like, this wasn't last week. I was sitting there, like, literally, like, I felt like I was going into shock. Like, I was like, what's funny is, though, even after I didn't save that girl, I was, like, still really confident. I was like, Yogscast Hannah failed that too, so I'm just fine. I was not fine. Later in Life is Strange, there's a moment where you were trying to convince the drug dealer to side with you. And, okay, actually, let me rewind. There's a gun in the game, and the game really wants to give Chloe a gun, but I was like, don't give Chloe a gun. And so I just kept choosing all the options that would take Chloe's gun away from her. And then, like, 10 minutes before you meet the drug dealer, the game's like, well, here's a gun anyway. And I'm like, what was the point of what was the point of trying to not give her the gun if the game was just going to give her the gun anyways? You go to the drug dealer with Chloe's gun, and she's like, I don't need your rewind abilities. I'm just gonna use my gun. And okay. I had just come back from dinner. I took a little break from playing, and I kind of forgot what the stakes were. And so I failed the dialogue challenge, and Chloe freaking shoots the man dead. And I was like, Chloe, this is why I did not give you the gun. Oh my gosh. I'm sort of getting upset. Chloe shoots the man dead, and I won't lie, I did restart the save here. That is the only time I've ever done this. I was like, I just couldn't do it. The moment Chloe shot him, I knew that I had made a wrong choice, and I don't regret it, but I restarted the save and made the right decision. The final choice of the game, you are presented with this trolley issue where you either save a city of thousands or save your best friend. You either save Chloe, the woman you've spent the entire game with, the woman you fall in love with, the manic pixie dream girl. Like, I played the entire game knowing it was going to lead to this decision, and in the back of my mind, I was like, I'm saving Chloe. It doesn't matter what the game does. I decided I was going to save Chloe. Then the end of the game comes, and the option appears on screen, save Arcadia Bay or save Chloe, and I froze. My player had been bullied, drugged, beat up, and I still had to save the town. I let Chloe die. And gosh, like, that is some good narrative. To go into a story thinking you know how it ends and thinking you know everything, and it still affects you each time. Isn't that playing The Last of Us again and again and still crying at the end? Isn't that Aloy going to find Elizabeth Sobek's body and still crying hearing that last audio log? Isn't that knowing SpongeBob and Patrick will die and they never make it to Shell City, and then their teardrops form a heart in the heart? Isn't that knowing I can't do it? Anyways, I was so sure I was going to save Chloe, but in the end, I just knew. I knew it was the wrong choice. And I actually think Chloe dying is the canon choice in the narrative. Let's get into this. In the new game, Life is Strange Double Exposure, apparently they'll respect both endings, which means that whether you chose to save Arcadia Bay or your Bay, the game continues no matter what, which is a coward's decision. Devote to one ending. The reason I think Chloe dying is canon is because the game sort of respects it more. Like, you get a longer cutscene, and I also just think it makes more sense to the narrative and the themes that the game was laying out the whole time. One of the themes of the game is destiny, and Chloe not dying kind of defies destiny, and the consequence to this is Arcadia Bay being destroyed. There is also a blue butterfly that flies at the beginning of the game when Max discovers she has powers, and then again at the end of the game that Max sees as one of the last shots, and it just feels right. Like, that is a closed loop narrative, and I feel like the ending in which you save Chloe doesn't have that same closed loop. My biggest worry about double exposure is that it doesn't actually expand on, address, or include any big characters or details from the first game. I understand the studio wanting to make it more accessible, I guess, to an audience by not making them have to play the first game, but devote. I mean, just pick a side, don't nod. Like, it could be kind of like The Witcher 3, where I didn't play the first 2 Witcher games, and so I did feel like I was missing some character dynamics and some story details, but to the main, like, overarching story, like, it didn't really matter that I didn't play with The Witcher 1 and 2. And I feel like Life is Strange double exposure could be similar, where maybe there's a character or two that you meet in a side quest and you're like, oh, well, they have a fun dynamic. They probably expanded and they probably developed that dynamic in the first game. I should play the other games. But I just don't think they're going to do it. I think that, I mean, admittedly, there is a cutscene that does address Chloe as a photo in Max's wallet. But if all we get is just one side comment and one photo of Chloe, like, that honestly hurts more than Chloe being dead. Do I have anything else to say on this game? Oh, I actually do have stuff to say. I want to talk about the side characters. Like I said, I remember, like, the main characters and all that stuff, but there's just these, like, random kind of amazing side characters in Life is Strange. Like, let's start with the I guess sort of love interest Warren. Warren strikes me as kind of similar to some of the boys I knew in high school and even a little bit in college. They're sort of annoying, but they're really pure at heart, and if you give them patience and you give them time, they're actually very sweet. I got the sense that he is, like, supposed to be a little annoying, so I didn't feel like the game was putting in a character that I was having a negative response to. Like, I felt like it was all genuine and built into the story. However, I grew to actually love, like, the random side characters that have literally nothing to do with the story. There's this girl named Dana who is just a regular woman. in this story full of, like, time travel and manic pixie dream girls, there's literally just Dana, and she's just a regular woman. I mean, technically, there is this story of her getting pregnant and then possibly having an abortion, and she's in, like, a love triangle, which is, like, a whole thing, but, like, other than that, she's just a girl. Like, she's just a girl. After that, there's also a side character named Alyssa, and she's just this, like, random girl who has a bunch of bad luck happen to her, and so you're supposed to use your time travel abilities to help her. Like, one time she gets hit in the head with a football, and then the next time she what happens next? She gets water splashed on her, and she gets hit with a toilet paper roll, and so there's, like, not really a purpose to saving Alyssa. It's just this, like, strange little funny side character who, like, talks like this. And I just thought she was neat. I thought she was fun. I also like the two other mean girls. Like, there's the main mean girl named Victoria, and then she's got two kind of sidekicks. And I felt like the game really humanized those other sidekicks. There are some other side characters I could mention. There's a kind of soft voice, creepy spoken janitor, and a French art kid. But honestly, that's, like, their entire characters, like, just being soft spoken and kind of creepy, and then also being French. And I didn't 100% Life is Strange because I almost never do that, but I did take my time, and I'm really glad I got to delve in deeper with all these side characters. It's now time to talk about Life is Strange Before the Storm. Before the Storm takes place 2 years before Max returns to Arcadia Bay and centers on Chloe and her life. Something really important about Chloe is that her dad died, and she is not processing that trauma well. She is acting out and cutting class and just, like, generally being, like, a nuisance to society. But one day while Chloe is out, she gets attacked by these drug dealers, and she meets a girl named Rachel Amber. Rachel Amber is the girl. Like, she is the lead in the school play, she has a 4.0 GPA, and also she is hot. Chloe might be the manic pixie dream girl, but Rachel Amber is something different. I had a Rachel Amber, and I fell for her. She's the too good to be true, why are you even friends with me kind of girl. She's the everyone wants to be her or be with her kind of girl. She's the, on the surface, like this perfect Americana dream. And on the inside, there's so much depth and there's so much more to her. You feel like you're seeing a different side to her when you get to know her, and it makes you feel special. Chloe and Rachel start a massive forest fire, as girls do, and they discover that Rachel's mom is not her biological mother. The girls then star in a play, they get tattoos together, they kiss in the ashfall, and it's so beautiful. Rachel really got me. If Rachel Amber was real, I would be wrapped around her little finger, dude. Like, there was a girl in high school who was so hot, like I couldn't actually speak to her, and I feel like that is how I would respond to Rachel Amber. Like, she was like, "Hi, Gracie," I'd be like, I seriously though, playing Before the Storm made me almost wish I had a high school romance that destroyed me. That's how much Rachel Amber got me whipped. Except another challenger appears, whose names have dawned these hallowed halls before. Her name is Steph. Steph, my love. I'm so sorry. I forgot you. I strayed. Please have mercy on me. Steph. Stephanie Gingrich is one of the love interests in Life is Strange True Colors, where I absolutely fell in love with her. Like, let's actually roll that clip.
First of all, Steph is of God. Steph is a cute manic pixie dream girl that I absolutely romanced.
There is a moment in Life is Strange Before the Storm where you are talking to Steph, and Steph's like, hey, is Rachel single? Like, I was thinking that I wanted to ask her out. And I, as Chloe, was like, oh no. I was like, Stephanie's talking to me. I just remember being so taken off guard because I realized something. I realized that as much as I love Rachel Amber, I love Steph more. I told Steph to go for it with Rachel, like ask her out. And Rachel, of course, asked me about this. And I was like, well, obviously, Rachel, like, Steph is the source of all my love and all my strength, and she makes me want to wake up every day. Anyway, I love Steph, so Before the Storm was a great little experience. I had seen someone play the game before. It probably was Yogscast Hannah, but I don't really remember. I remembered the opening cutscene and just like a little thing in the middle of the game, but nothing big. It was really, I kind of went into Life is Strange Before the Storm blind, and I really enjoyed it. There wasn't as big of an ensemble in the Before the Storm game, but it was still good. I really enjoyed it, and I got to meet Steph, so that sort of brings us to the end here. I don't really know what the point of this video was. Maybe to talk about the new game? Lost Records Bloom and Rage is also coming out later this year, which is another narrative choice-driven game by Don't Nod. I will probably end up playing both of the games. I don't know when. Bloom and Rage doesn't actually have a release date yet, but I know Double Exposure is coming in the next like 3 to 4 months, like something like that. I honestly have no idea, like maybe October. But before I leave, I do want to talk about the music in these games. It wasn't required of the devs to do this, but they gave us a baller soundtrack, dude. It's a really, really good game. There are 2 times in Before the Storm where your character is just kind of like sitting there, like thinking, and in the background there's music, and I was sitting there like on my beanbag holding the remote, and I just was like vibing. Like, I just had a great time. Like, there's even a point in Before the Storm where if you sit there long enough, you get interrupted. And I was like, fuck, I vibed too hard. I will link a playlist of the songs below. I mean, not all the songs, but most of them. I would really suggest listening to the stuff by the band Daughter. I have been just like vibing out to No One, I think it is, and it just goes so hard. Like, No One is just like, ooh, let's just listen to it for a second. The music just hits that hard. I mean, I'm finally moving out of my folk phase. I've been in it for like 2 years. And into an alt-rock phase, which I am totally down for. Anyways, I've got a 9-to-5 job to do, and so I love you very much. And I will see you again. How does that dance even go? Like... I'm a bitch. I should have known better. Oh my god.